Hey guys, welcome back to Quick Notes with Chris. Today we're going to be talking about the book The 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard. So, if you are, this is the type of book if you're in a leadership position or in your management position, you're in some form of leading a team, a business or something like that. It's really interesting and it's really awesome, especially if you don't have previous any sort of personal development with leadership, because it breaks down a lot of different stages in a very simple, understand way in order to become a more effective manager or leader. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is, question one, are you a manager? Or are you a leader who wants to get greater results on less time? Now, my odds are you're the second one, who wouldn't want to be a leader who gets better results in less time. It talks about how to do that, and it basically orientates it into three ways. The way that you have 1 minute goals, 1 minute praises, and 1 minute reprimands. These are all the three aspects of becoming a manager and the things or leader that you have to do. So it talks about basically talking to people about their goals, understanding what it is that your team has and the goals that they have in mind, and basically getting them to have an agreement with you. So the first part of talking to them goal, every single one of these points should be able to be done in less than 1 minute. So the first one is agree with them on the goals, right? Understand what it is they are there to achieve, whether it aligns with the company, whether it aligns in the process, and if they're basically in a position that they're going to be able to achieve these goals. The next part is good behavior, right? Understand, let them know what good behavior looks like in order to basically be more of an effective team worker. Maybe like, this is what it takes in order to get what you want, and this is what I'm looking out for in terms of good behavior. The next one is get them to write out their goals in less than 250 words, right? It's hard to hit the target if you don't know what you're aiming for. The best way to become more clarified, clear and conscious in terms of what you want to achieve is if you can write them down. The fourth thing that you want to do is read and reread to them what their goals are, all right? They should be able to basically talk about, at least, the very least, each one of their goals in less than 60 seconds. So you want to basically get them programmed with understanding why it is they're working, understanding what there is to working towards, specifically depending on what your team is there to achieve. If you can basically keep them on focusing on the result of why they're doing the job, of course it's going to increase their ability to perform. The next part is 1 minute eval on performance, a 1 minute evaluation on their performance. So it basically understands if their goal and everything is lining up in order to help them achieve, and are they moving in the right direction to make sure that timeline-wise, they are going to achieve their goals in a certain amount of time. Now, part of achieving their goals is having a correct evaluation. The sixth thing is, does your behavior match your goal? So, along with evaluation, you do need to understand if your behavior is matching your goal, right? This is what I'm talking about, how understanding that there is going to be signs. There's going to be signs that tell you whether or not you're going to achieve something. I talk to people about goals, how they should be a sort of, like a university degree. There's a set amount of things that you need to do, and by the end of a certain amount of time, you're going to basically achieve those things. So for example, let's say you're doing a nursing degree. A nursing degree, you have 3 to 4 years. There's lectures that you need to attend, assessments that you need to put in, and exams that you need to set. All of a sudden, across a 3-year period, you shouldn't be surprised that you're a nurse. This is the same way that you should approach your goals. Through evaluation and understanding if your actions are actually getting you closer to the goal that you're looking towards achieving, there should be certain checkpoints that allow you to know that you are hitting these goals. Now, as a manager, right, it's your job to basically make sure that your team are on track to hit these goals. Not only your targets as a team, but also their personal targets. If you can sort of have a level of synergy between the goals of the person and also the goals of the team, then of course it's going to be basically like a well-oiled machine, both working back and forth in order to get a better result together. So that's the first part of 1 minute goals. The next one is praise. Praise. So as a leader, as a manager, it's your job to keep your team motivated. An easy way to do that is through praise. The first one is tell people up front how you feel about them. Be honest. Be straight away, good job, right? If a person who looks... They did a survey on all these different people through all these different corporations, and they said that the number one thing that they were lacking in their job, if they could, wasn't a pay rise, but basically recognition. A lot of people don't get the recognition they deserve. In fact, if you look at it from a statistic perspective, the average person receives 5,000 compliments across their lifetime. 5,000 compliments. Now here's the crazy thing. Before the age of 7, 2,000 of them. The average person will receive 2,000 compliments before the age of 7. That's nearly half when you haven't even reached the halfway through your life. So it's crazy. So basically, recognition is something that you're able to give as a manager to help motivate, and you should, especially if it's genuine. Next one is praise immediately. So give praise immediately. The second that you see it, you praise it as it comes, all right? People don't understand half the time, especially if they knew if what they're doing is correct. If you give them a level of praise, they understand that the direction that they're going in, the actions that they're taking is the correct ones. The third one is specific praise. You can't just be saying good job. right? You need to have specifics. Understand exactly what it is. For example, when I was running a sales team, it needed to be specific. Hey, good job on that sale. You're basically able to effectively reassure. You're effectively able to close, and you also kept it on an effective time frame. It's awesome. Keep it up. That is an example of giving them direct praise. Anybody can hear good job. It means something if you know exactly what you're looking for, especially from a leadership perspective. The next one thing is how good you feel about the performance. It's one thing to give praise, it's even more to let them know that you feel good. Let them know that their performance is actually emotionally affecting you in a positive way. That's almost just as powerful, if not more, than giving them recognition. A lot of people love the feeling of fulfillment in other people. So if you can basically emulate that, let them know that the way that they're acting, the way that they're doing is genuinely almost as if a father who feels proud, especially if you do represent that respect in your team and you've become a great leader beforehand. The next thing is stop for silence to let them know that they feel or if they need to speak. So many times when managers are talking or leaderships are talking, it's just them speaking, right? A level of silence can help a message hit home. It also gives an opportunity for the person to speak as well. So many times, being an employee or being in that position where I wasn't the manager, there were so many times where a manager would just speak without ever hearing me out. That silence allows what you're saying to hit home, while on top of that, giving an opportunity for a back and forth. The second last thing is encourage more. Right, with praise, by default, you get encouragement. But if you can specifically say words that also encourage it, like keep it up, right, that obviously is going to allow the cycle to continue. It's almost as if you're basically creating a cue, routine, eventually a reward for the habits that you're setting. All of a sudden, you have an effective team who are looking out for the correct praises, correct recognitions, and encouragement that you can basically achieve from a leader. A leader and a manager's goal is to motivate in order to get to the goal more effectively. If you can do that effectively and efficiently, you're obviously on track to becoming a good leader. Finally, the last one is physical touch. A level of a handshake. Basically, an easy way to show that you're being genuine is having a level of physical touch. Now, of course, don't go over the top. There is obviously, stuff that's basically allowed for the workplace, but physical touch can allow you to appear more genuine, and everything that you just said, it almost as if it just ties in all together to make it seem as if you're a genuine person and you do care. If you can master these, then you basically mastered praise. Finally, the one that a lot of people, managers, don't like whenever coming into the role is reprimand. Now, reprimand, very similar to praise. Reprimand in private, right? Reprimand in private and also immediately. Reprimand in private and also immediately. Now, the best way to do it is never to just do it straight away. However, give them some level of notice. Be like, hey, look, I need to talk to you about what just happened there. Can you meet me at the back? I need to talk to you for 2 to 5 minutes, right? That allows a level of professionality. You're not actually reprimanding, ostracizing them in front of the rest of the team. You understand that it's nothing against them, it is only against the action, and it isn't personal. If you can do those things, it makes you look like more of an effective leader. Finally, outline exactly what it is that they did wrong. Be specific, right? The goal is to allow it not to continue, right? So in order to do that, you need to identify what is the specific thing that they're doing wrong, and basically how you can prevent it in the next time. The next point is how it lets you feel. Just like praise, letting someone know that you're disappointed is so much more powerful than just yelling. The feeling of letting someone down is always going to stay you more than just getting someone to be angry. How many times, if you remember the times that you've let your parents down or you've disappointed someone that you care about, rather than just a time that you made them angry? That's because anger is something that comes and goes. Disappointment is something that can stay on your mind forever. So if you can let them know how you feel, it will make sure that the reprimand goes well. The next one is stop for silence. Once again, letting it sink in. Right? Everything sort of ties together when you have a level of silence. It also allows them to speak so they can basically have a level of back and forth to make sure that whatever the reprimandation is, whatever the problem that they've basically done is actually going to hit home. Finally, shake hands, level of physical touch. And let them know that it's not personal. Right, this is just about the action of the team, right? This is a part of the machine that's moving, that's not moving right. This is how you need to do it properly. It allows for basically you to go back into the workplace as friends, as colleagues, and basically being focused on getting the job done rather than it being personal. And the next one is reassuring. Reassuring that their action does not mean that you don't want them there, right? A team member that doesn't feel wanted is always going to have a lower performance until the day that they leave, right? So you want to make sure there's a level of reassurance. Once again, it's not personal. This is just about making sure that the machine is running properly. The next one is think well, but not of performance, right? Understand that the goal is still to be a performing group, right? You do mean well behind you, your relationship is strong, but the machine getting the job done is more important than one's feelings. So you do want to basically separate that, understand the difference, and finally, don't hold a grudge. From a management and leadership perspective, especially with someone who's incompetent, it's very easy to hold a grudge against that individual. Make sure that you personally don't take it personally, right? It's very important that both parties understand that they're there to get a job. Anyways, guys, that's it with the 1 Minute Manager. So if you do have any more videos that are coming, I highly suggest you like, comment, and subscribe, but don't let it stop there in terms of your improvement. There are a lot of other videos that you can actually take a look at in order to put yourself in a better financial position for success. I'll see you guys in the next one.